Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our live stream. My name is Dimitri. I'm the community manager for Top Drives. For those who don't know, and first of all, guys, I want you to let me know whether you can see me and hear me well. Oops, that wasn't expected. I've got my stream open on the mobile as well, just in case. Yeah, I can see some people starting to say hi, so probably you guys can see me and hear me well. Haven't really done these for a while, right? It's been about 2 months, if not more, since our last live stream, and it's been a pretty busy 2 months as expected with the release of Japan Pro Tour. So there's quite a lot for us to talk about, but I'll try to get it done in an hour. I don't really have anyone else with me today. No one from the rest of the Top Drive team, like Johnny and Tim, because we've got people being on holidays as well. So I'm handling this myself today. Hopefully it should all go fine. We've done these live streams before, and yeah. So I've put some of the questions on the screen for you guys, but we do have a couple more things to talk about today before we actually go into Q&A. But before we do, I just wanted to say hi to everyone joining us in the chat. That includes Romano, Gonzalo, Micha, Cizoni, Robert, Zvonda, JK. So yeah, Will is still with us. He's obviously, he doesn't really work sort of full time for Top Drives. He works, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 days a week. So he's mostly responsible for car corrections and helping us to decide which cars go into the game, and obviously help with correcting existing cars and building up, the hierarchy of cars that we have. So I don't really have him today, just myself, but I'm sure he will join us in the later live streams. But so, hi Scorpion, DevDrop, nice to see you as well, and welcome everyone joining the stream right now. So yeah, I'm a bit stream rusty, I would say, as I haven't done these in a while. So please forgive me if I'm being a little bit rusty, I suppose. So before we go into the Q&A, obviously the way our Q&As work is that we will pick 5 questions from the KD Play thread that we have created. And those 5 sort of main questions, they usually get a carbon fiber pack, which is going to happen in this case. The only difference, I'm going to award the Japanese Pro Tour carbon fiber packs actually this time. So you can see those fellas on the screen, but we'll get to that later. We also have, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or 6 questions that are sort of secondary, and I want to talk about them as well. They don't get a carbon fiber pack, but in those sort of main 5 questions, I want to focus on, I guess the most pressing things, and this time we'll discuss our roadmap, which is still not there, but I can share you some details about what's going into Top Drives in the future. So the very first thing before we actually go into the questions is that I wanted to show you guys, we've talked about this update 14.2, and last week, if I'm not mistaken, I've shared some information that this is the update that will be coming this week. As you can see, it didn't happen yet, but don't worry. This is coming very soon. We're in the final phases of releasing it, and it's actually not that big of an update. There are some minor changes, I would say, compared to obviously something like Japan Pro Tour, but it definitely builds up upon what we've already introduced in 14 and 14.1. So I actually have the release notes in front of me, so let's just go through them. Why not? It's not like there's nothing too crazy, but this at least will give you an idea of what's happening. So there are a couple of improvements in the 14.2 update to be released sometime next week. First of all, we've got the improvements to the garage view, something you guys have been reporting to us. So the empty slots no longer will be displayed when scrolling to the end of the garage view. So as you guys know, this is a bit of an annoying thing. As you scroll, sometimes you're just shown a lot of empty spaces, and it doesn't really work and look very well. So we've fixed that. We also did a small tweak to the to when you press the empty slot when picking a car for a match. Usually it has a small remaining RQ value displayed to it, but now when you press on it, it will jump you to the first car meeting this limit in your garage, or if none, the closest value below it. So that's really nice. Some improvements to the garage view. We've also got some improvements to the RQ slider, which is something you guys have been asking us to do for a while. We've released RQ slider back in May, and haven't really looked into it since then. But mainly because just team priorities. Really, our guys and have been really busy developing various features that are not just that, and yeah, they've been a bit busy, but we've tasked them to do some improvements to the RQ slider. So first of all, the area of the scroll has been better aligned to the scroll bar at the bottom. And secondly, we fixed a bug where dragging over the space where the UI with the number is would cause it to drag the scroll bar. So that means you're gonna have fewer instances of accidentally dragging or grabbing the RQ slider when you're trying to drag the car from the bottom list of your garage. So hopefully this will help, but obviously we're open to feedback. There are multiple solutions we sort of looked at of how to resolve this issue. We settled on this for now, but if there are any issues, you guys let us know. But at least we've looked at it and did our attempt to fixing it. Also, in terms of improvements, we have improvements to our resource management system. So what it means is that sometimes when you play the game, you will have these weird white squares displayed on your screen, which obviously doesn't look really nice, and doesn't always happen to cars. Sometimes it happens to rewards in challenges in the rewards screen, and you just see these blank screens. So this is related to the fact that the game has evolved quite a bit in the past 4 years, and obviously we have moved from having this just over 700 cars in the game. We now host 3 times more cars than before, and this affects how the game manages resources. So we encountered this issue that it just wasn't enough, and we've improved it. So we are hoping that these white squares will disappear, and you guys will always have a proper card or a reward display to you when playing the game. There are also minor things like an improved slots reward icon, which obviously no one really cares about. In terms of bug fixes, I have 2 now here. I think there are a couple more, if I'm not mistaken. You will probably find out a bit more next week when the update is released. But we have fixed the issue with the all cars filter, which was quite annoying. I mean, you could bypass it by clicking a different button in your UI and going into the all cars filter. But we fixed that, so that shouldn't be a problem anymore. And there's a very minor issue with the price car highlight box in the player tutorial. Nothing too crazy. It was very, very minor visual bug, so nothing to be worried about. I'm not going to go into car corrections this time. We've got, I think, about 50, but this is something we should talk about. There's nothing major as well, but we will talk about it when the update is actually released, hopefully sometime next week. So that's for 14.2. I will briefly talk about 14.3 later, as we are actively working on that update as well, and there's some really interesting things. There's a lot of background stuff in there that you guys don't really see. We're making changes to this flexible pack system. We're fixing bugs and everything before we are able to fully start using it. You guys haven't really seen that yet, but you eventually will see it. The other thing before the Q&A that I wanted to talk about today is the little survey, the player research survey that I've shared on the forums a couple of minutes ago, just before this live stream started. So we are doing player research. So what we want to do, the ultimate aim of this survey, this itself, what on your screen right now, the form, is not a survey on its own. So this is just asking you for some details and sort of trying to find out more about you as a player. How much do you play? How long you've been playing for. Some details about your account. And also, we're just collecting information about you because we would like to contact you for some more like sort of deeper interviews in the future. And we are looking, at establishing some. It depends on what you would agree to do with us, but we're looking to send you online surveys, text-based interviews, voice, video-based interviews, and voice-only interviews. So this is something that we really want to do. These will be one-to-ones with our. If you go with voice or a video interview, this will be one-to-one with some of our employees, probably including myself and our product manager. So that will allow us to get a better understanding of what sort of features we should be looking at when developing the game, and just your general getting your opinion about the game. So I just want to make it very clear that this form by itself is only for collecting the information rather than being a survey of its own, right? So we will get those surveys sent to you or contacted. We will contact with you later. And to be clear, also, we're not going to be contacting everyone because there's going to be a lot of submissions, and when we are looking at maybe at the beginning 10, 15 people, and from sort of various categories of players, being very new players, older players, those who are playing a lot and not a lot. So we will see how that goes, and if we feel like we need more information, we will continue contacting players if we need to. But this is purely for just collecting information about you. So we're asking about your email address and your username, and what type of what sort of research you're interested in, your age, your gender, where you're based, and some information about your account and how long you've been playing, etc., etc. There are a couple of questions at the bottom as well, just to get an understanding of what sort of player you are. And so, as I said, by the way, if you at any point, if you've submitted the information and you feel like you don't want to take part in this anymore, you can always send a message to our customer support via a ticket or through an email, support@hutchgames.com, and ask us to delete this information. So this is not a problem. We will absolutely be happy to respond to you in that way. So if you need to find this form, the easiest way for you to do it is to go to the KT Play forum in game by accessing the button to KT Play on the top left in the game, and you will see in one of the highlighted or pinned threads there is a new thread that I've created which has which is called Top Drives Player Research, and it has this link to the survey, to this form rather, included in there. So if you want to contact us, please go ahead and do so. Okay, so that's out of the way for now. Let's go into the Q&A. Let me have a look if we have any sort of questions from the audience. I think we're mainly sorted really for now. If you guys have any questions to me while I'm doing this live stream, please go ahead and ask them. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna head into the Q&A. So the first question is coming from the user Wiseman, and congratulations, by the way, on now obtaining your Japan Pro Tour carbon fiber pack, as we've picked your question. So what can we expect to happen in the coming weeks and months? Roadmap, what are you most excited for? So, I mean, there's a lot going on, and as you guys know, we've in the past months we've shared a lot of information about various things. You guys have seen things like new UI, A/B tests. You also heard about new improved 3D environments. You've probably thought about maybe new championship. You've heard about the wishlist feature, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things that we're developing currently, and as previously, most of them are sort of very long-term project, right? So things like the 3D environments is something that we are very much actively working on, and we're expecting the A/B test of this feature, of the improved gameplay basically, or rather graphics, for lack of a better word. We expect the A/B test to start happening relatively soon, probably before Christmas. So that's something to look forward to if you are if you're a fan of improved environments. We're also bringing the wishlist feature quite soon, so that is in testing, I think, right now, and I can't promise it's coming in the next update 14.3. Things change, I can't really give you exact updates when these features will be dropping, but you can expect it pretty soon as well. So that will allow you to wishlist some kind of a car that in your garage, and then when you get it from a pack, for example, you get a little notification, so you can keep track of the cars that you want to have in your garage. We've got in terms of like minor things, we've got hopefully the fusion price reducing over time. I think that is something that might be coming as well quite soon, and no specific ETA unfortunately as usual, but this is something I've mentioned in one of the previous live streams as well. We're looking forward to having that feature. We're working on collections. We're on more collections. Obviously we have summer games running right now, so collection is what we call summer games, and we have a couple more of those in the pipeline coming for you guys. No information about the next big car update, but we are working on it. In fact, we have 2 or 3 updates already sort of in the pipeline. We're thinking about them, getting those licenses, and it's going pretty well in that regard. So this is again something for you guys to look forward to. In terms of a more detailed roadmap, I've asked Robin to put together a roadmap update from the roadmap he has shared back in February. I know we guys told you that we will share a more detailed roadmap later when we release update 14, which is something that happened, but the roadmap is still not there. This is something that we are working on, and we will publish it to you as soon as possible. And you will have access to a lot more detail than what I'm telling you about. But in terms of the things that we're working on in the meantime, there's a lot of background stuff that I can't really tell you about, guys. There's many improvements to stability, servers, flexible packs, all these A/B tests that we're going to have for various environments. This is something that is being worked on very actively, and I've seen some examples of how it's going to look like, and these environments look really, really nice, and there's going to be more than one of them. I think there is also one brand new environment that we're working on that will only be on this sort of new 3D environment. Utilizing these new graphics. So this is something I've heard very briefly about. I would have to confirm, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. Whether it's coming, it's probably going to release together with updates to the existing environments that we already have in the game. As far as I'm aware, not all environments will immediately receive the update, but I just want to let you know that this is something that's coming fairly soon. We can share now a bit more with you, and we are very excited because there's more there will be more than just that. You guys have probably seen the new UI A/B test that we've been doing in the past months. There are various versions of them, and some of them were a bit strange, like remember Lewis Hamilton? No, Lewis Hamilton is definitely not going into top drives, but and that Mustang, I think, challenge, that's something that doesn't really exist either. I think I'm losing connection a little bit. Are you guys still with me? Yeah, let me know. I think I've lost the connection a little bit. but do let me know if something happens. I'm trying to look at the chat, just doesn't update very quickly. Well, I'll assume that it's all good. I'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, good. Oh, thank you guys. So back to the Q&A. We wanna go to the question number 2. So I hope this gives you at least an idea. As I said, we will share roadmap a bit later. So the question number 2 is from a user called David. David, so the feedback of the last update I read wasn't that good. How do you want to deal with it? Will you change the next update so that it pleases more people? So we don't really think that the feedback was not good. I mean, we have seen some great engagement and numbers generally in the game in that time since the update released. Main sort of I would say feedback in terms of why the update might have not have been so good comes from the fact that we have brought a lot of cars, but we didn't really update. We didn't really bring new manufacturers, something that we'd sometimes do. We have added a lot of cars, and these cars were difficult to get licenses for. So this is not something that we control very easily. It's not like we can go and pick a new car that we want and just ask the manufacturer to get added to the game, or not even ask a manufacturer. We have to go for each car. It has to go through a very specific approval process. There's a licensing team. There's a lot of sort of human relationship that comes to getting those licenses. So it's we recognize that there might have been some other brands that you wanted updated in this update, which didn't happen, but we feel in terms of new cars added, this has added a lot of variety. We're planning to have a lot of events. Summer games involves these new cars, as well as all the Tri-Series involve these new cars. So hopefully this can this at least to some extent sort of offsets what you guys are saying in terms of no new brands being added. And I mean, this is not just, there's not an easy answer to that, because licensing is a very, very tricky process. I can't even go too much into that. I can't really tell you about various brands that we maybe wanted to add but couldn't get really. So this is something that we obviously take into account, but we believe that generally this update was successful. So I don't feel that it was not. So at the very least, if you feel that there is there's more feedback you want to share with us about the update and why you didn't particularly like it. I know you guys have been saying as well, too many lower tier cars, but we've had a year ago European Revolution, which added a bunch of legendary cars. In fact, it was very legendary heavy, and the feedback was completely opposite, that there were no lower end cars in that update, or very little lower end cars in the update. So there's always this balance that we want to strike. Of course, we want to have a very, very balanced update, but it just doesn't always happen simply because of licensing. But it's nevertheless a very good question. So I have a question from YouTube. Will fixing wrong car pictures become a future priority? Yeah, there are a couple of them that are duplicates, a few of them that are wrong. And yes, it's not as straightforward to get them fixed, but absolutely this is something we are looking at. And, we want to make sure that car photos in the game accurately represent the car that we are trying to represent, to show into the game. So so that was question number 2. I'm gonna go ahead to question number 3, which came from user ID 457325608. Why haven't you changed event start and end times for the Asian server? Obviously, this is something we've been talking about and asked about a lot previously, and we absolutely recognize that there are players who might not feel so I suppose appreciated by the fact that for them end times for events might be quite late or very early, or just in some unreasonable times. But unfortunately, changing event start times and end times for different region servers, it's a very complex and technical challenge. It needs thorough consideration, because there are multiple edge cases, design considerations, and downstream effects we need to be aware of. Our investigation concluded that this feature needs dedicated time before release, so it's not a quick and easy task to complete. And there is no ETA I can give you right now, but we're looking into it. I can show you. We understand why it's important for our global player base, and it's always been in the back of our minds to have a look at that and make sure that everyone's having a sort of similar gaming experience in top drives. It's just not that straightforward of a task to sort out quickly, and it needs dev time and a lot of considerations. And there are just some other features that have bigger priority at the moment, but we are absolutely not forgetting about it. So Felipe Kurz is saying about 14.0. The problem with Japanese Pro Tour was the 8+ months of waiting for only a few cars and a lot of bugs. I just want to reiterate, there were not a few cars. I mean, I recognize that many of them might feel similar to you, and they do, but that was still quite a lot of cars. I think in terms of cars added in an update, this update was number 2 in the history of top drives. So there were a lot of cars that we've added, and this will prove useful going into the future. And I do agree that it is sometimes quite tricky understanding which car is good, because they just look so similar. And I kind of like Japanese cars in general a lot, and still, even with all these specific there are just so many of them, and I agree with that sentiment that you sometimes get confused about them, but still that was a lot to fight for when getting those approvals. And why would we add fewer cars if we can add more cars, right? So that's I guess the thinking point is, like, we release updates every once in a while. We don't release car updates every few months. We release them, let's say, every 6 months. At least that's something we're trying to do. It wasn't particularly that with this update, but we don't want it to be dragging for too long. But it cannot be going out every month, because we just don't have these licenses. So if we have an opportunity to release more cars, we will do that. And plus, I think that there is also scope for some cars that we didn't manage to add with this update that we wanted to add. So there could have been even more. I'm just taking a little voice break, if you don't mind. Have a quick look at the chat. So Guanda, she's asking from the YouTube chat whether there are any new game modes coming soon. I do not have any information about any new game modes coming into top drives soon. Benjamin is asking about the Peugeot Pikes Peak, which has been corrected. So I don't really have any information in terms of when is it getting added or given out as a prize card in the Tri Series. This is probably going to happen a bit later. No information, unfortunately. And yeah, see, I'm definitely stream rust. I'm losing voice. It's ridiculous. So next question number 4, comes from user Avgor. When are you planning to introduce a refreshed UI? It was already beta tested by some of us, and we could see it on the promotional pictures in Google Play Store. But when can we expect it to be actually in the game? So this is a very good question, because we've tested various versions of UI, as you guys know. I think there were at least 2 that you have seen, and they're wildly different from each other. We have more coming up. I'm not promising that it will happen very soon, but the way it works is that we upload this new version of UI we show it to only a certain number of users, and then we will take feedback and we will iterate on that and bring it forward later when we feel we will iterate on that version and bring improvements into the next version that we'll want to test as well. So it's a very lengthy process. With the team that we have right now, it doesn't happen very quickly. And as we release each new feature, we will consider the UI for that particular screen as well. So things in the Google Play Store were definitely tests to get an idea if a particular idea for a feature has or the UI has promise before developing it. So it doesn't mean any particular idea is being developed. So I can't really say more than that. I can only say there will be more of these tests coming, and probably you will just see it in certain places. Sometimes Google Store, sometimes in the game. So this will all probably gonna come together with the changes to the game, to the new environments. I have a feeling it's gonna all release sort of in one big package rather than being introduced separately from each other. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna grab a quick drink here of nice, fresh and tasty water. And if you guys have any comments from the chat, please do let me know. Oh, very refreshing. So there we go. Let's go into the next question, which is actually the last question of the of this main sort of part of the Q&A, and it comes from our beloved user, KDPlay user Henry. He's mentioning some of the issues that happened to the game recently, and as you know, on Monday this week we've had a situation where we've had to take down the Summer Games challenges temporarily, at least some of them. This because you guys were getting some spinning wheels, and we've I think we've recognized this pretty quickly and reacted quite well. So at least from our point of view, as we have noticed the issues straight away, minutes after they started appearing, and thanks to everyone who were reporting them to us as well on Discord and everywhere else. And what we've done, we've basically had to take down those challenges because they were well causing that issue. And as soon as we came back in the morning, that was, by the way, like midnight in the UK, so on Sunday, so obviously no one was really around, but we managed to notice it and got the server team to look into it, and we've looked into it, took a decision to take them down temporarily, and then in the next day, we've tried to keep you updated while we were putting these challenges back into the game. And we have also extended the total length of the Summer Games by 1 day, so that you don't really lose on those tickets that you would have lost if if we didn't extend it. So that's I wouldn't say that this is a I mean, we've had similar issues with challenges before, which also happened on the, I think, 2nd of September, but this is something that we're very, very serious about. We are absolutely looking forward to getting these sorted, and we don't like having these issues. Absolutely, they do happen, and when they do happen, we try to solve them as soon as possible and try to give you guys compensation where we can, taking into account various factors such as how many players were affected and for how long there was an outage, and etc. etc. So there are many factors that come into deciding the compensation, really. In terms of the bugs, I don't feel that there are bugs in 14.0 in Japan Pro Tour, but we have actually resolved quite a few issues that you guys were having. Does anyone remember the overlapping screens? They still, I think, happen occasionally, but they occur much rarely, and that's great to see. Because if I went to a Discord channel for bug reporting, for example, that's what I would see all the time, just players reporting these overlapping screens. So they happen much less often these days. So we are continuing working on bugs and fleshing out the game. Obviously, if we bring an update, sometimes it happens that something breaks, and we try to fix that as soon as possible. So we always take everything into account, and we triage all the bugs that we know about, and we decide the priority for fixing them and depending the severity of them. But I just want to make it clear for Henry, there are issues, but we are always working on them. There is not. It's not. We have fixed a lot of issues as well in recent times. But it's just that people don't really always talk about them. When we do, a bug stops appearing and just everyone stops talking about it. So it might seem like there are only new bugs happening, but there's always continuous work going on, and our QA team are definitely doing a fantastic job on that. But yeah, there is an answer. So that concludes the main part of the Q&A. I'm gonna have another sip of this fresh water, and I'm gonna scroll down to the next section. So that's not supposed to be like this. There we go. Secondary questions. These are a little bit more informal, I suppose, but still talk about what's coming into the game. The first question is from Andrew, and by the way, I forgot to mention, all the 5 guys that I've picked for the previous questions, they will all get a CF pack. You don't need to do anything. I will award you with a pack and send you a quick message saying that you've received a pack and where to find it. So you don't really have to do anything because I know your user IDs. So So Andrew Norton, as I said, what is the reason for not having a new Yellowbird style championship? Is it because it doesn't bring enough money, the format is already built, and it provides content to keep players interested for longer? It seems like another missed opportunity. So community has been a great source of feedback regarding their enjoyment of the championship game mode, and we've listened. We want to continue expanding on it, and we all can say at the moment is that there's no estimated time for a release, but it's being designed. So the thing with championships is that they take a lot of time to design, and generally designing events, challenges in top drives is a very time-consuming process that doesn't only need time, it also needs a very specific expertise of an employee developing them or creating them. So you have to know your cars, you have to know how they interact with each other, you have to know what to put where, you have to know tracks, tires. There's very specific knowledge that you have to possess to be able to create these challenges effectively, because you guys are going to be the main sort of testers for them. You're going to be playing them, right? And no one knows the game better than you. So all these challenges will be vigorously tested by you guys, and that's why we're seeing a lot of feedback about summer games. When you're saying that they're difficult, they are difficult, and you are absolutely saying truth and what you experience as you're playing the game. So coming back to my point about needing that expertise when developing, that means we can only have a couple of people on the team really to be fully involved with designing those. And when you have to design hundreds and hundreds of rounds with different cars, testing different parts of your garage, especially something like championship, which is not going to be temporary, it's going to stay in the game for a long time, right? So it's going to be tested by a lot of players. That means they need to be done really, really well and fleshed out. And you'll have to create the championship while also working on all other live content that you have in the game, including challenges and events. So what I'm trying to say, it takes a lot of time and effort. And it's being developed at the moment, the next one. And we hope to share news eventually. Not saying exactly when, but it's going to be exciting. Daniel Wang's asking, why don't you recruit the help of veteran players? Absolutely. If you are looking forward, if you want to join Hutch, you can apply for a role here. So there are always roles. So it's not like we can just ask any random person, or maybe not random, but if it's an influencer, we can't just ask them to start helping us or something like that. It has to be a process. Because you basically have to offer them a job, right? In that case, so it's not like you just can ask someone to do something for you. It's a serious business and it needs to be documented. So but we're open to new employees. Next question I have on the Q&A list here is, so this is from, it's a pretty easy question from Falagar. So hi, Top Drives developers, could you please let us know if you are just dedicated to Top Drives, or do you also participate in other Hutch games as well? Thank you, wishing you all the best. So it's an interesting question, but it's not very. We're all dedicated to Top Drives, generally speaking. So I've always been working on Top Drives, for example, in my time at Hutch, and most of the people I know have always been involved with Top Drives specifically. But we do have sometimes, various members of the team jumping between games, but it's rarely temporary. It's always nearly permanent. So if someone moves to another team, they will be staying there for a while. There's an expectation that they will, learn from the team, grow with them, and bring value in there. So you don't really want people jumping too much. At the same time, you do want to expose people to different experiences, and because we have at least 3 teams here at Hutch working on 3 sort of main platforms, 3 main games. And we need to share that experience, and it's a good idea to send people to other teams to spy on them a little bit, and to try to get some information from them. How are they working? Because all teams at Hutch Games are very, very sort of independent and work in their own ways. There are a lot of shared experiences, but we're still very much independent. So generally speaking, on Top Drive's team, we're all the same team. So we rarely move from one place to another. Any chance there will be new tracks in the future? As I mentioned, really, and a little bit earlier, I think we do have another track coming, but that's gonna be built with the new 3D tools that we have. So it's gonna use the new graphics. So that's pretty much the answer, really. I don't think we're gonna have any new tracks using sort of old technology that the current tracks were built on. Looks like that I have a duplicate of questions here. Yes, I do. So why haven't you changed event start and end times? That's already answered. Next question from Boktio. I was wondering how you developers, mods, Hutch deal with negative comments. Well, we read them, and just to give you an idea of how we sort of process your feedback, every week we have sort of within team meeting where each member of the team shares what they're working on and what they've been working on in the past week rather. And obviously from my side, I bring feedback about what you guys are saying about live ops. Our customer support tells about various issues that are happening. Q&A are updating everyone on what they've been doing the past week and which tasks they focused on. So that team is constantly aware of everything that's happening in the game. I also report on sentiment, for example. So that's how we deal with the negative comments. We take them into account and we make sure that everyone knows about them. And then at other times of the week, someone from our team will share this feedback with the wider company. So this is a continuous process of like a loop of feedback. It's not that just you're saying some negative comments and they just staying there. We're trying to take that feedback into account. And there's not only negative comments, there are plenty of people who share positive sentiment with us as well. I do have to recognize it's been pretty tough past couple of months leading up to release of Japan Pro Tour, and after that, especially on platforms like KD Play on Discord, as we do have a lot of players sharing their honest opinions. Sometimes it becomes a little bit difficult to I guess stay objective, and you do want to sometimes just leave and not be there, because when you have 15 people in live format messaging you about something, you cannot physically respond to everyone, and then as soon as you do, you get another 15 messages, and as soon as you do another message responding to them, you get another 15 messages. So It's a pretty difficult process, and it's been pretty challenging for us. Past couple of months. I know, I'm a bit more resistant, I suppose, to that. I can read without taking things too personally, but we have, members of the team that are perhaps not so prepared for feedback. So, yeah, I mean, but this is what we deal with, and it's not easy, but that's what we have to do. Ultimately, we want the game to succeed and the community to be happy. So we have to take all that feedback into account, whether positive or negative. So next question. So have you thought about adding the possibility of for players to add a wanted tag to cars to create a personal wish list? So this is gonna be like the fifth time I'm talking about it. Dimitri, just bring the feature in. No, this is something that's coming very soon, and so it's a really nice looking feature. There's gonna be some like nice looking hearts and everything like that. It's gonna have a little bit more usability than just that being having having a car wish listed. So it's coming quite soon, and we think you guys are gonna enjoy it. So question from the YouTube chat. So Jonathan B45, you said they're working on 2 or 3 car updates. Would you expect the next car update to come quicker than the time between American Frontier and Japan Pro Tour? That's just not something I can comment on. Obviously it's good when there is a consistent timeline between or a gap between update releases. It's just not always achievable with the team. With how team operates, with how busy they are with other tasks, with how licensing is going on. The Japan Pro Tour definitely took a lot of time, and we absolutely recognize that. But there are things that there are things that we can control, and there are things that are outside of our control. And things outside of our control can impact this the time it takes to release an update quite significantly. And we've had quite a bit of back and forth with manufacturers this time as well. So I'm not going to give you any specific ETA on when that's coming, but I can just as mentioned, we're working on at least 2 updates at the moment, probably 3, and there's way more cars that we want to add to the game. Although it does get more challenging to add these cars into the game with time, of course. I really personally like adding brand new cars. You're gonna have in the next 2-3 years, let's say, you're gonna have so many different electric cars being added or just created in real life, and that's something we're probably gonna see eventually in the game. 2-3 years from now, who knows what your garage is gonna be looking like. So. Final question I have here on the list from Bilbo Baggins. So this is, I guess, from me. So do you plan to communicate on this forum, KD Play, in tandem with Discord? Many of us are not on Discord and have to rely on users posting screenshots here to get the latest information. So when it comes to essential information, news, official news, updates, release notes, tri-series, that kind of stuff, that's all shared across both platforms at the same time. They're always, so there are no exceptions. This is like main piece of news. Main pieces of news always have to be posted on everywhere and at the same time. When it comes to more sort of direct communication, we do have, of course, Discord is it's such a platform that allows you to exchange messages a little bit more quicker than on KT-Play. And we really appreciate the fact that some players are sharing those screenshots from Discord and KT-Play, and we encourage you to do that if you feel there's value in it. And, we just cannot, the KT-Play is not such an easy platform for us to communicate on. It takes quite a bit of time, and KT-Play itself, discussions over there are not so open. They're confined to specific threads that have specific theme to them. If there is something like, sometimes you will have like 20 threads just asking when is the next update, right? So you can go into one and respond, but then you will have another 20 threads created over the next couple of weeks. So you can it's a bit more difficult to communicate. And with Discord, of course, it's much faster and convenient for us. But we appreciate the fact that you guys want us to be more that platform. But what I can assure you about is that all the essential needs that you need to be aware of are shared on K2Play in a timely manner. And we appreciate very much the team of mods who are updated regularly about some various developments in the background, and they actually respond to your questions. They don't really take, a lot of the times they don't take the information out of nowhere. That it's because we let them know, and yeah, that's that they will share that, and we really appreciate them, the way they're responding to everyone and keeping keeping sort of taking care of the K2Play forums. And the reason why we don't have a prize car showcase for the ACR is just because we are down some people on the team at the moment due to holidays, really, and we didn't really have much time, to be honest. We are absolutely looking forward to bringing this back as soon as we have the resources to bring that showcase back. So I'm actually done with the sort of main part of this. I'm gonna have a look at some of the chats and see if you guys have asked any of the questions that I might have missed or are worthwhile responding to. So let me open our Facebook to see if there are some Facebook people, because they usually ask a lot of questions as well. Maybe there's something I can find there. But to be absolutely clear, we are these live streams will continue as they do, and we love doing these with you and responding to your questions. And as I said, there will be a roadmap update eventually. I'm not going to tell you when exactly, but we will share something with you soon. No, I don't have anything to share about matchmaking or trophies at the moment, sadly. There's a lot of questions people are asking are obviously sort of game improvements, not just like general questions about how the game is going and everything like that. And I cannot always comment on those, because even if the list is like endless and there's only so much the team can work on at the same time. So the ones I've shared with you today, including like wish list and championship and a few more things, these are all in development. But there are many things I cannot talk to you about, or sometimes I will just say outright, no, we're not looking into that at the moment. Nothing in terms of updates to the career mode or campaign rather. It's probably gonna stay as it is for now. But yeah, I think we should start wrapping up here. Not too many comments on Facebook, so I hope you guys are enjoying all the content that you can access in the game right now. That includes the summer games, monthly challenge, as well as of course the various tri-series that we are running. The IDR was crazy. It's a crazy car. And the finals were mad. I myself struggling with summer games, I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult, especially I'm struggling with the events that award gold coins. It's tough. I think I only have one, so I'm not gonna be getting too far. But anyway, what I'm gonna do later tomorrow probably, because it's quite late now, I'm gonna share the summary of this live stream as well on the forums, so those who have missed some parts of it can have a look at it later. And if you want to re-watch the live stream, there will be a version of it available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/topdrives, in a couple of hours when it's finished uploading. Otherwise, wishing you all the best, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Top Drive Show. Bye bye.